I didn't notify anyone like I normally do. This was definitely a last minute impromptu live. After everything that's happened over these last couple of days and this last week, I just wanted to come on and discuss very openly what I've been feeling and how I see things. And I'm really hoping that what I say can help or give other people some guidance that I've been trying to kind of navigate over this last week. Okay, so I desperately want to help be a part of what is going on and solving it. I don't just want to talk about it. I'm not that person that is just fluffy. I don't just want to say, hey, let's all band together and actually just like, let's support. Like it helps, but I actually want to freaking make a difference. And in order to make a difference, I had to stop and actually just look inside. And so what I've been doing over these couple of days, so I wasn't sure how to handle it. Initially, I actually stayed quiet. The reason why I stayed quiet is at the time I thought, hey, I'm not a person of color. I do not know how to eloquently speak on this matter. And so I don't want to pretend. I don't want to offend anyone. Then I started to hear that actually people are being perceived that are silent as supporting the aggressor. Now, of course, because that is the complete opposite to what I want to do, I had to listen. I had to put my ego aside. No one wants to be told, hey, you're doing something wrong. But I had to put that aside and I had to listen. And so what I've been doing recently over these last couple of days is I've been listening. And I've reached out to a lot of my close friends who are Black, who are of color, and saying, hey, I actually don't know what I'm doing. I am a white woman. I can't pretend anything different. My background is my background. So, hey, right now I need to educate myself because my perspective clearly was wrong, right? My perspective of staying quiet to support wasn't the right perspective. Like it didn't serve the cause I'm trying to help. So when I realized that, okay, my actions aren't actually serving the goal, I need to adjust accordingly. So I reached out to some friends and I was just like, hey, what is the truth? Like no holds barred, you know me, I can take a freaking punch, but tell me what me specifically and what other people are doing in my situation that you would like to see different. And I just said, I'm just gonna sit there and listen. And so I sat there and I just listened. And the one thing that kept coming up over and over and over again that I had heard from my friends of color was that their white friends don't speak up. And the reason being is they're uncomfortable. Okay, so that is true. It is very uncomfortable to talk about it. It is uncomfortable for me to come online right now and talk about it because I'm just discovering and figuring things out in real time as well. But what do I know about getting uncomfortable? The whole thing, my whole shtick, the whole show is in order to get to a goal, in order to achieve success in any area, you have to freaking get uncomfortable. And so I just said, Lisa, you cannot sit just allow yourself to be uncomfortable. You have to push yourself. You have to get uncomfortable in order to get to the other side. Okay, so how do we do this? So I actually want to address the uncomfortability because being uncomfortable, let's face it, is human freaking nature. When I look at any person, whether it be a woman or man, the thing that always comes up on why people don't go for their dreams, their things that they've always wanted in life, the reason is because they don't like being uncomfortable. They don't like facing their fears. They don't like facing inadequacies. So let's address, okay, being uncomfortable is human nature. I'm not saying accept it, but let's embrace the people that are uncomfortable and say, okay, we need to get them to see the perspective of what is really happening because it wasn't a perspective I saw. So, okay, we need to make sure that people are being open now and listening. Okay, sorry, that was a bit of a tangent. So we need to address the uncomfortability. Like me personally, I understand if you're watching this right now and you're just uncomfortable talking about it. I freaking get it. But I also get you have to push through it. You cannot accept that you're just going to be uncomfortable and then sit in it. To make real freaking change, we have to change. Okay, I got that out. Okay, now the next thing is, I feel extremely passionate about this. I've really been thinking about how I change. And in order to change, I just go to what do I do in general? What do I do when I went from a housewife to Quest Nutrition? What do I do when I went to build impact theory? I have to learn. I have to look at what I don't know and face it and really embody it and read up about it and get knowledgeable about it. Because if I don't get knowledgeable about it, I literally cannot help the cause. So, okay, it is my responsibility. See my post today, guys. It is your responsibility to become knowledgeable. Let's not rely on other people. I don't want to rely on my African American friends to have to educate me completely. Yes, I absolutely want to hear their perspective. I need to hear their perspective. But I also have to take ownership. I have to learn. I have to grow. For me to change, I have to then understand Okay. Okay, and I know I keep diverting, but this will all make sense. So now what I'm going to do, I started to read, I started to research. I had some great friends who've been sending me studies and things like that. And I came across an article on LinkedIn, and this was so freaking powerful. Last night, I was like, it's helped me understand. And that's where I'm coming from. No judgment, no freaking, I'm trying to get rid of any preconceived notions I have and go to, okay, this is what I have to do to understand. And this article helps address the questions that I still had. So I'm going to be very honest. I actually wrote a post. And my friend Michelle and my sister Lily are my confidants. I send it to them. I'm like, hey, you guys know me so well. You know my intention. I need you to read this and let me know if my intention comes across, because I understand there's a big difference between intention and the result. So my intention is this. Are the words I'm using coming across what my intention is? And so I went back and forth with them, and Michelle turned around and I actually put in the copy, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter. And she said, you have to cross out all lives matter. And I was like, what? Well, what do you mean? Why would I cross off all lives matter? She's like, because it's not being perceived very well. Now I was freaking confused. I was like, but isn't the whole point that I'm addressing that Asian lives matter, Indian lives matter, like all these other ethnicities? I actually feel like I'm being racist by not acknowledging them. And so she said, I understand where you're coming from, Lisa, but actually that's not going to be heard. So I'm like, okay, cool. I get that's the result. Now I have to understand why. I don't just want to repeat. I don't just want to be a parrot and be like, yeah, Black Lives Matter, and not understand why I can't say all lives matter. So I came across this article, and this is going to be, I know I'm very long-winded, guys, but this will all wrap together. So I came across this article. I had some really heavy questions that I had to understand before I can take action. And this article addresses these questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pin the question underneath right now as you guys are watching, and I'm going to read his answer. I didn't want to, repeat his answer, because his words are so freaking powerful, and it comes from a Black man, and it's so powerful that I want to use my platform right now to help in real time show you what I'm doing to try and help and try and understand. I am not there yet, guys. I am not the person to come to and like, Lisa, you have the answers, let me know. No, right now I am investigating, I am educating myself, and I am using my platform to anyone that wants to come along on this education with me. By all means, join me. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to pull up the first question right now, and I will have a bit of discussion with you guys after I've read the questions and the answers. Okay, so the question is, all right, here we go. All right, why shouldn't I say all lives matter? Again, I didn't actually understand. I thought that I was somewhat being racist by saying only Black Lives Matter. And again, I'm just in real time articulating how my mind works. It's not to say that it's right or wrong. It's just to say this is what I was thinking and I had to understand. Okay, so I've been told you can't say all lives matter. I didn't understand why. This guy freaking nails it on the head. So I'm going to pull up his answer right now. Bear with me. Like I said, all of this has been just really weighing on my mind, and I woke up this morning and I'm just like texting my team, and they've been freaking amazing to jump on board, but we are doing things and scrabbling last minute. But I figured rather scramble and get the content to you guys than to be perfect, because I'm the person that actually always says, don't freaking wait for perfection. So you're going to see me stumble a lot, because in real time, I'm figuring this out. Okay. Why shouldn't I say all lives matter? This is the guy's answer. Let me put it this way. If I broke my ankle playing basketball and I went to the doctor for medical attention, and his response to my pain was, all bones matter, and then sent me home, that would be pretty dismissive, if not outright malpractice, right? Yes, I agree. Yes, my ribs, my wrist, my skull, all matter. That's obvious. But right now it's my effing ankle that's broken and in need for immediate attention. This is not the time to bring up any other bones, because at this moment only one bone is in crisis. I know that some people learn concepts easier through metaphors. I'm absolutely one of them, which is why this resonated with me so much, and this is the best I can do at the moment. But putting the metaphor aside, here's the bottom line. All lives can't matter until Black Lives Matter. Using the metaphor of the bones freaking amazing. It hit me. I get it now. You're not saying I shouldn't think of other lives as in being important or mattering, which I thought that's what people were saying when I was saying don't say all lives matter. I thought they were saying no, those lives don't matter. So now I actually understand why it is important to say Black Lives Matter and not all lives matter. Now I will act in accordance. So that one last night hit me, amazing. I get it now. I'm on freaking board. And so hopefully that metaphor also helped you guys, because like I said, I'm just trying to in real time tell you what hit me, and hopefully that anyone, whether it's you or a friend or a family member or someone, whether you're, you know, a Black person wants to help and impact your white friends, or if you're white yourself and you're like me and you're just trying to freaking be a part of the solution, but you don't know how, hopefully that really helped. Okay. I'm going to move that, and now I'm going over. If you guys are just joining me, I'm just explaining that I came across this article. I have a lot of questions I need to understand in order to act. I'm just not that person who acts blindly because the crowd says so. I need to understand in order to feel it. Once I feel it, I can go full force with utter conviction. So what I'm doing is I read this article. This man, please actually let me know, Michelle, the guy's name again, because I'm reading your thing. I'm actually not reading directly from the article, but I will also, guys, be pinning this guy's article and his name in my, I believe, on my profile page in case you want to access it. I'm also going to be posting on my IG stories some links to swipe up if you want to check out this this link as well. So, okay, the next question is, all right, and this is, again, I'm picking questions that I have personally struggled with. So this question was, what's wrong with saying I'm colorblind? Now, before I even read this article, as of 24 hours ago, that was my perspective. I'm like, but I don't judge people on color. Like, I have friends of all races, all ages, all genders. Like, I literally don't even think about that one of my friends is Black. Like, it doesn't occur to me. And I thought that was the best thing. I was like, guys, look, I'm definitely not racist, but I don't even think about it. And in response, I've heard people say, you can't say that, that's offensive. And this is where I get confused. So I'm like, well, but I'm saying it because I don't think of race as being a indicator of if you're a good person, if you're good at your job, if you're a good human being, right? Like, all these things I don't think of being attached to. So isn't it a good thing that I don't attach a race to how I think of you? And everyone was like, no, you can't say that. So again, I'm going, okay, please explain to me why. Because once I understand, I can then change my actions. So this guy, again, let me explain, made it freaking amazingly clear. To be clear, I'm not referring to people who have a vision issue. Of course, we don't want to hate on the poor people that are actually colorblind and it's just a genetic thing in their eyes. That would make me a total jerk. Yes, it would make you a total jerk. No, I'm talking about people who think that it's a positive trait to be blind to other races and cultures. And for honesty, guys, I thought that was a positive trait. So I'm just putting my hand up there. The most damaging aspect of colorblindness is that it encourages us to put our collective heads in the sand and pretend that our differences do not exist. But here's the thing. If you don't see my race, my culture, and my heritage, then how could you really see me? Fuck! I get it. Like, I really want to see you. So let me just continue here and I'll tell you my thought right after. I am Shola Mark Richards, the son of a West African man and a Mississippi woman, and I'm very proud of who I am. My life as an African American man has brought me my own stories, struggles, and joy, many of which I shared on this page. I want you to see that. For us to connect in a meaningful way, I need you to see our connection becomes deeper by acknowledging and ideally learning from the difference of others. Okay, I totally understand now why seeing someone for like their heritage, what they've been through, their stories, their struggles, seeing them as individuals, I absolutely get it. Now, here's actually one area where I don't have an answer to yet, but I definitely want to keep exploring because, again, I'm just trying to understand. I'm trying to vocalize my real-time thinking. I'm a little confused on this specifically, and here's the area, is that I get it, like we want to take each person as individual. So to see, like for instance me, right, just gonna go reflect back to me because I think that's how we can really understand it. I go, okay, like I need you to see me as a woman. I don't want you to just see me as a business owner. Like, I don't want me being a woman to dictate how you treat me, but I absolutely want you to acknowledge that I am a woman, because to dismiss that I'm a woman actually is somewhat dismissing me. So I'm trying to reflect what he's saying with being a woman. I think I get it. The confusion though is that where's the fine line between that and then not pigeonholing someone because of where they come from. So because of you, let's say, being a male, because of you being black, where's that fine line between I need to see that you are black, right? Or I need to see that you're a man. I need to see you're a woman. Like, we need to see each other for who we truly are. And yet, how do we articulate that without it coming across as being somewhat judgmental? So again, please forgive me. I'm fumbling through my words. It's something I haven't quite figured out yet. I see a lot of people hearting right now. So maybe that's something that you guys are also maybe contemplating, struggling. If anyone has any insight into that, again, this whole discussion, this whole live is about educating and figuring things out and having a platform where we can be super honest and super open with no judgment. Because I think that in order to make change, we have to change. In order for us to change, we have to look inside ourselves and ask the hard questions and freaking get uncomfortable. So that's what I'm doing right now in my real time, trying to ask the questions, getting uncomfortable, and just seeing. So if you guys have any feedback on my predicament there, that would be amazing, because I think that is the next step and the next piece of my puzzle to actually getting better. All right, so hopefully that helped you guys as well. I actually said that I was going to stop and ask and talk to you guys. I'm so in the zone though. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going, just because I feel like this is freaking powerful. And I'm going to, I've got one more, and then I'm going to come back to you guys, and I want to have an open discussion. Let me know what you think. I want to hear from all races, all genders. I want to hear from everybody, because I think it's going to be important to hear different aspects on how we can communicate and get together and be stronger for it, and freaking change what is happening right at a systemic level. We have to, no holds barred, we have to freaking do it. Now I'm looking at what is the no bullshit way in doing it. Like, I don't just want to say, we have to look at what is the no bullshit way. And so for me, the no bullshit way in myself is looking deep, getting uncomfortable, reading the questions, reading the harsh feedback, and just listening. So, okay. Now the last question. All right. So the last question that I felt it was extremely powerful. All right, this one. I want to talk about get uncomfortable. Let's talk about let's get uncomfortable, guys. Does white privilege really exist? Okay, people, up until I read this, people would say, oh, you're white privilege, you're white privilege. I didn't actually get it. And to be honest, I actually saw it as somewhat of an insult, because the way it came across when people were saying it was with aggression. So when you come out with something to anybody and tell them anything about what they're like, if you come with aggression, it's going to be perceived as an insult. So whether it is or not, just saying. When people say, hey, you're white privilege, it comes across as an insult. So I was like, okay, maybe there's a message behind that, because again, let's not judge the people. Let's not judge necessarily the phrasing they use. Let's understand what they actually mean, and let's discuss that. Okay, so what do you actually mean by white privilege, and why is that a stigma, and why is that a problem, and how do we overcome it? These are the questions I'm asking myself as I'm thinking about what does white privilege actually mean. So this guy, going back to, oh my God, his story. This is amazing. Hopefully it'll be as impactful on you guys as it was on me when I understood what is meant by it. What is meant by it. That is important. All right. So the guy basically shared his own personal example. One of my very well-meaning neighbors was out of town, and this is during the quarantine, and some Amazon boxes were piled up on his front porch. He texted me to see if I could head over to his house, pick up some packages, bring the packages back to his house, it's from his perspective, so I'm going to read in his perspective, bring the packages back to my house until he returns home. I'm sure that you know where this is going. So this is a white neighbor asking his friend, his black neighbor, hey, I'm out of town, can you go pick up the boxes? The thought of me going to a house that was not my own, grabbing a bunch of packages that didn't belong to me, remember, in a cloth mask because of the quarantine, and then walking them back to my house was not going to happen. Even though he meant well, it is easy to see how that could have ended poorly for me. As a white man, you probably wouldn't have thought twice about the request. But for me, I have to think about those things every single day of my life. Like I said in my earlier post, white privilege doesn't mean, and this is important as well, white privilege doesn't mean that your life isn't difficult. It simply means the color of your skin isn't adding to your difficulties. Fuck! I'm gonna repeat that again. All right. Like I said in my earlier post, white privilege doesn't mean that your life isn't difficult, which that's important because I actually saw it. Personally, I don't know how everyone else felt, but when I heard white privilege, it came across like people saying, all white people don't have a problem. And in all honesty, I was like, but isn't that unfair to say? And so this is what he's saying is, it's not that it's you don't have a problem. Or, every human being has issues. But what he's saying is the color of your skin isn't adding to your difficulties. Damn. I get it now. I get it. So, dude, Shola Richards, I'm going to link this. His article is amazing. He addresses so many other freaking questions that were just so powerful. But these were the three that really hit me, that allowed me to understand. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that question. So to help me understand just what the language that is being used. And once I understand, now I can act in accordance. Like I said, guys, for me, when I even look at my relationship with Tom, who I've been with for, 19 years, words matter. When I say to him, hey, babe, it's important. That matters. Words matter. So for me, when I'm posting, when I'm talking about this, when other people are talking about it, we need to all get on the same page about what words we're using, because I think that is going to help us get to the goal of making real change. Because if I'm saying something, if my message is being misconstrued because the language I am using isn't actually impacting someone, then that's a freaking problem. So I think that's why, I know I'm repeating myself now, but that's why these three questions really helped me understand that the words that I'm using matter, that the language that I use matters, and not just to be I'm not the person that's going to freaking follow along with the crowd. I'm not going to succumb to public pressure if I don't understand or agree with it. Period. That's just not me. I have to stand by who I am. But I understand there's a freaking problem. Like a systemic issue we have to fix. We have to fix. So in order to fix it, how can I personally help? This is my way. This is me doing what I feel like I know best. Breaking things down, constructing language, going through my own emotions, really articulating them, and then hoping to get information, to get education enough to help other people that may be struggling in the same way that I am. All right. Time for questions, guys. I'm sorry that was a long, I'm usually trying to be a lot more engaging with you guys. But I really hope that what I just have been speaking about for the last 24 minutes has been impactful. We're going to be releasing this as well on... we're going to be posting this to my stories feed so you can actually watch it, and then we'll probably be pulling clips. Let me know what was empowering and impactful, because again, going back to the goal is to help spread the message. So I want to know from you guys what hit you, what made sense to you, what resonated with you, and because again, it's going to be important that we keep echoing the language and the takeaway and the information. We need to keep echoing it. All right, so I'm going to take some questions from you guys, have a bit of a conversation. But again, please know I am in exploration mode. I am in learning mode. I am not the expert at this. I am just trying to, in all time, figure out like a lot of people. All right, so the question from N3Y97, I'm not even quite sure how to pronounce that, Nay97, but why should you be so attached to external identities? Why can't you relate to someone just on a human level? Well, so here's the question, here's the feedback on those questions is, these are very valid questions that I don't have an answer to. So what I'm trying to do is open up the conversation. So I can't answer this. I honestly can't answer it. But I think it's important that together we ask these hard questions. And for people that are trying to stay silent because it's uncomfortable, I freaking urge you, get uncomfortable. Start talking about it. Start being part of this dialogue. Start helping answer the questions. If we can eliminate somewhat, I know it's freaking, like, it's been so many, centuries of just abuse and just like utter most unacceptable behavior that I know it's going to take a long time, but we have to start somewhere, right? If we want to freaking build a house, you have to start with the foundation. You have to start with the drawings. So to me, it's like, let's freaking just, if we have to start at square one and get to the freaking root of the emotion, of the language, of the questions that we have, let's freaking do it. Let's start peeling the onion. Let's start getting messy. Let's start getting uncomfortable. Because until we do, I really don't think we can make this change. So I want to echo these questions. Like, these are the things that people really are asking. And if we're able to have the discussion openly with no judgment, then I think we can hopefully start to fix it. One little side note, as I keep taking questions from you guys, I was actually supposed to have a Women of Impact shoot today, and it wasn't relevant to what was happening in the world. We had booked her a while ago. And so in an effort to try and be as serving as we possibly can here at Impact Theory, I now have Dear Sims, my homie Dear Sims, who's a very freaking good friend of mine. She's so damn articulate. She's so able to be very upfront and honest, unemotionally about the situation. And so me and her freaking connected yesterday. She really helped me understand more. And so I'm going to have her on Women of Impact. We're shooting that this Friday, and we're going to be releasing that episode next Wednesday. Again, a place to ask the questions, to connect, to really get each other. All right, so this is from Nikki Simply. What advice would you give other white people on how to get involved with this discussion? Okay, now this is a question I really can't answer. The thing, just you asking it, Nikki Simply, means that your head's in the right place. And that's the thing, right? We need to get white people, white women. I can only speak for myself. We need to start engaging them, not making people feel guilty about being quiet, but explaining why being quiet doesn't help. Because even throwing shade at people that are being quiet right now, it's not going to get you the goal that you want. It's not going to get you the results you want. So what I say is, let's start engaging more white people. Let's start engaging more people like ourselves that may be uncomfortable. Reach out to them and start talking. And to me, the way I handle everything is I'm just freaking honest. I'm like, you even see the beginning of this video, I'm like, guys, I'm fumbling through it right now. I'm in discovery mode. So being honest about that, this is freaking uncomfortable for me too, but I'm not going to hide from it. I'm not going to feel guilty about being uncomfortable, but I'm not going to let it dictate how I act. And so maybe reach out to your friend. This is what I would advise. Embrace that you're going to be uncomfortable. Don't feel badly about where you are right now. The great news is we can all change and we can all adjust. So what has happened in the past over these last week, if you've been silent no matter what, okay, fine. It is what it is. But now you know. Now you can actually take action. So getting involved in this discussion, I would say, is being on this, starting to talk about it. I personally have reached out to my Black friends and I've just asked them. I don't want to assume I'm doing the right thing. So I've just reached out and said, how can I be involved? How can I support you? I think that's going to be super important, and it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable to call your friend and say that. It's going to be uncomfortable to text your friend and say that, but it's going to be important. So reach out, get uncomfortable, start that discussion. Just listen, what can I do? And then research. So like I said, I spent pretty much all of yesterday, and people at Impact Theory, the whole team has been freaking amazing. And with Tom, we've been really looking into articles and videos and, what are the things that we can use as tools? Because if you know, everything we do at Impact Theory and Women of Impact is all about finding the tools in order to make your life better. So what are the tools? So right now, that's what I'm looking at. I'm like, what are the tools? What are the articles? What are the understanding? What are the discussions we can be having? And then help. So that's what I would say. Read the articles that I'm posting. Go on to other people's pages that you respect, that you think are doing a good job. Learn. And then if there's something you don't understand, speak up, ask the question, keep learning. All right, so next question is from Nemo. I'm sorry. I always say this. I butcher people's name. I apologize. Nimaroyu for you. I'm sure that was supposed to mean something, but I have no idea. How do we make sure that we continue this momentum? Yes, because that's, again, another thing for me. I don't just want to freaking talk for talk's sake. We actually are looking to make a change. So how do we actually keep making the change? I think it is coming up with a plan. Like, I'm all about plans. I'm all about strategies when I build my business, with my relationship with Tom, everything I do. If I'm trying to reach the Academy Award, I can't just have that in the ether. I have to go, okay, if I'm trying to get this, what do I have to do and how do I work backwards? So this is exactly what I did in this situation. Yesterday, I sat with myself and I said, Lisa, what's the no bullshit? How do we keep this going? How do we make sure it doesn't just fizzle out, that it's not just a moment in time? Like, I have had a massive wake-up call with this. I really have. And so with this wake-up call, I don't want to go back to sleep. I don't want to freaking go back to sleep. So what I'm going to do is, how do we do that? So I literally started breaking it down yesterday. Okay, let's work backwards. How do we, if we need momentum, we need to keep it, we actually want to make change. What does that look like? How do we do it from a systemic level? And I just worked backwards. And so my plan, very loosely planned right now, but really it is, I have to work on myself. I can't even help other people. If I don't freaking know how I think, if I don't know how I feel, if I haven't navigated my deep thoughts, if I haven't navigated my own feelings, I have to start with me. So that's just step one. That's step one of a million freaking steps. But you have to do that step one. So at least for me, I think it is about talking about it. Step one, understand, get knowledge, talk to your friends, talk to your family. Then it becomes, okay, now in order to make real change, do we have to do it from, a legal level? Do we have to go to the government? Because to me, it becomes about educating, right? This is exactly what I'm doing now. I'm 40 years old and I'm educating myself on this stuff. So we should be educating the youngsters. I just saw a quote, which I'm actually going to be posting in a couple of days, where it's like, people aren't born with hate. People are not born to hate. We freaking learn that shit. So if we learn that shit, it's going to take time to freaking unlearn it. And so for me, this isn't a freaking sprint. This is a freaking marathon. If we want to get to the end, we have to take 1 mile at a time. So again, going back to, I know that was a lot of words, but basically that means I think you have to speak about it, you have to research about it, any new information you find, you have to share it. I think then we have to look at what that means at an educational level, with the government, with laws. I know that they were saying on the news yesterday that I think in Mississippi they were going back 10 years of unlawful complaints. But okay, while that is great, not knocking it, while it's great, any change is great. It's like, what are we going to do differently in the future? What laws are we going to be putting in the future in order to change that? But to be honest, again, I'm just going to keep saying it, it's not just about the freaking laws. Like, it's not about threatening somebody. You're going to go, which maybe we freaking do, but like, you're going to go to prison if you do that. To me, it's sad that we have to get to that in the first place. So how do we avoid getting to that in the first place? That means dealing with human nature. That means dealing with the mindset of humans. Okay, how do we deal with the mindset of humans? If we know this is learned, so you can kind of see where my mindset goes, right? So it's like, okay, well, mindset, if it's learned, how do we change it? Okay, let's keep unwinding. But that was a really long way of saying I can't articulate a one specific answer because I am in real time processing it as well. So the amazing quote that I say a lot is, I speak not to understand. I speak not to be understood. I speak to understand. So even this IG live for me right now has really helped me understand even more. So as a note, go out, talk to your friends. Again, not for them to understand you, but so you can understand your own freaking thoughts, because it's going to be important for us to do that in order to get to the next level. All right, peeps, hopefully that was useful. Again, this was all freaking last minute. I haven't managed to read all of your questions and your feedback, so I'm going to go through it after. Please know if this was. Please let me know if this was useful. Please be a part of the conversation. Please do share this video if you found that any takeaways were actually great and any of your friends can also benefit. Please do share. Please do like. Again, the goal really right now is to make sure that we're having this discussion in a very open and honest way. So, guys, until next time, I'm going to come back, posting on my IG, more links. Yes. But until next time, guys, be the hero of your own freaking life, so then we can show up and be the hero for everyone else. Peace out, guys.